This episode is brought to you by Anchor. If you haven't heard about the Anchor app, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. For starters, it's completely free of charge. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more major podcasting services automatically. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and it's everything you need to make a podcast in one single place. So go ahead and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you and enjoy the episode.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Gunner and the Devil podcast. This is episode 8, I believe, Danny.
Welcome back.
Yes.
It's episode 8, and just a massive happy new year to everyone who's listening.
Yeah.
To you, Robin.
Happy holidays, especially to Dan the Man. How was your holidays?
Yeah, absolutely great. I mean, our football team was performing, and I had a decent time as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
we were all at home. It's a bit different, but
I think you guys went into the tier 4 thing, isn't it?
Yeah, we joined you guys in London.
We joined Welcome to the winning team.
You've been dragged into it now, but yeah.
Yeah,
it was all right considering it was at home. I mean, it was best for a bad situation, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's too cold to be outside anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's been snowing around these ends. I was just snowing at the Hawthorns yesterday, which is not far from me.
Yeah. I was watching the West Brom match against I can't remember who they played, Arsenal yesterday, and it started to snow in the half time. Like, bloody hell, they got snow down there. And I immediately thought of you guys. Like,
you forgot you played us at the Hawthorns. West Brom, yeah. Yeah. But it's massive snowstorm there. But the game still went ahead, which a
is
lot
good.
of people surprised about. It's good, of course, and we took advantage of it, but it could have got called off.
Yeah. There were a few cases which we'll talk about. So Dan the Man, can you introduce the podcast to the listeners out there before we go into the contents?
This is Gunner and the Devil. It's focused around all things Arsenal and Manchester United, but we have we chuck in a bit of world football news in there, and obviously now it's the transfer window. We'll have transfer rumours and gossip. It's mainly focused around our teams, but obviously we have the Premier League, we have whatever's happening in the beautiful game. We've got all that, and it's brought to you on the podcasting platforms such as Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, even Anchor itself, and on your end, it will be on your YouTube channel, Draco.
So on my
subscribe and support that.
On my end, I upload it once Danny's done all the hard work into compiling this podcast.
Yeah, editing the segments.
I upload it on a Monday at my YouTube channel, which is centered around Manchester United. But I've got a podcast section, which is the Gunner and the Devil. And also on my Twitter, I have the pin section, with all the links. So my Twitter is Draco Evolve, and Danny's Twitter is
Mr. DNA 007.
Yeah, I mean it is. In terms of the podcast, it is a journey for us. We've come a long way since the humble beginnings.
It's been gone quicker than 8 episodes already. In 2021, God willing, it's going to be a great, huge year for this.
Before I get into the contents, 2021, Dan's touched upon it. It's going to be big, I reckon. We're going to push it really hard.
And I think we should review the year of 2020 as well. Obviously, what our club's accomplishments and what you think we could improve on from last year.
Oh yeah, that is actually a very, very good point. One of the contents
I think that should be one of the main things we discuss this episode.
Before we get into the contents discussion, I just want to let the viewers know about some of the stats that I have been getting on my ends. In regards to the podcast. Obviously, Danny can be the same thing. See, YouTube is a bit funny because YouTube doesn't like. For those of you who do YouTubing, YouTube doesn't like anyone being taken out of their platform. So the minute I start putting in all the anchor links, YouTube,
Spotify, all that, doesn't it like that?
Yeah. So what YouTube wants is people to come in and stay in their platform rather than come into the platform, have a link to go back outside their platform, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I've been testing around a little bit. I've seen that the last episode didn't garner as many interactions that I normally will because I was punished by YouTube for it.
Oh yeah, I noticed you didn't put the links in or anything.
Yeah. So last episode, and I think the episode before that, there wasn't many interactions. I looked at on my side, there wasn't any notifications being sent out because YouTube is what you call a shadow ban. So I have been punished for it.
Have you actually? Wow.
Yeah. Whereas the first few of them, YouTube wasn't shadow banning me, right? So we had a lot of interactions coming in, a lot of views and likes coming in.
So that's obviously gone down.
That's the life
That's a
of
weird one from YouTube. There's a weird one.
Yeah, that's the life of a YouTube. Hence why a lot of the podcasters are moving onto platforms like Twitch because it doesn't punish
Yeah,
you.
which is definitely, I think, something for this year. Like, I know we were planning it before.
Yeah. I
Go
was
ahead.
putting in some plans yesterday. I hope to
Yeah.
discuss the plan with Danny probably end of January. We can launch it on Twitch because I was
Yeah.
just putting in
Like an
some
official, like dedicated
like some
Twitch channel.
artwork, the names and everything. I was kind of booking in things. I'm
Yeah,
looking
I'm
at
ready. I'm all down for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did it yesterday. Sat down and had a quick thing because after looking at the episodes on YouTube, and thank you for everyone that's kind of joined in on the
Yeah,
podcast
huge
on
thank you. Yeah.
YouTube. I realized that YouTube and there's a lot of complaint from bigger YouTubers around that YouTube does shadow ban you if you put in links that takes people outside of YouTube.
That's a bizarre,
Yeah,
little
they do
thing,
not
isn't it?
like that. They do not like that. So when I put in our Spotify links, when I put in all these anchor links,
Yeah.
YouTube initially doesn't catch it, but over the weeks it catches it and starts punishing your videos. So you can see that generally across all my other videos, I get a good level of interaction. I get a good level of views. Obviously, I haven't done YouTube for I took a break from YouTube. I wasn't consistent enough, but the last week and a half, I can see all my monetization and everything going back up again. Unfortunately, is the podcast side of things. So regardless, I'm gonna keep the podcast in there because it's fun for those that joined in. In terms of stats, the people that do join in, thank you so much. I have seen you guys listening a lot of the podcast, so it's not a matter of 20 minutes in you guys shut it down. I see the interactions.
Viewer retention isn't
Yeah,
is
viewer
a
retention
lot.
is important. So thank you guys so much. In regards to before we get into the contents part, in regards to Danny's side, can you give us some of the stats that you've been seeing on your ends?
I've seen. I told you some that before we had the following. Obviously, in the UK, we had some in the US, and we've had some in some other different countries like Korea.
Oh,
we have some. I think we have some in Africa. Like I think.
Hopefully, it's not North Korea, is it?
Not South Korea.
Kim Jong.
I think Djibouti, India. All these different countries,
wow.
and Russia. Like it's weird. The thing is, I don't know where exactly they come from. Maybe from Twitter, maybe from your YouTube initially.
Yeah. That's
and maybe they're finding us through Spotify.
They probably are finding it through all the other platforms, which is nice.
See, like other Arsenal or Manchester United
it's
related
good to see. It's good to see that. It's good to see that, and
obviously
we haven't been doing this for too long, by no stretch of means. But 2021 is my personal goal on my content creation side, and I've already started on that. For those of you subscribe to me on YouTube, you'll notice that I've been uploading more and more this past week and a half. But 2021 for me is all about live streams and podcasts. So I'm going to
definitely increase, taking it to a bigger level and a bigger
scale. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that. Obviously, this podcast will eventually be on Twitch as well. And
hopefully that will increase the engagement more. And at the moment, I think we've got over 100 plays altogether. Like, so far.
Nice.
So on our podcasting, on the podcast platform side of things, I don't know about your YouTube side. If you add that on, altogether, I think that's quite a lot considering we're just starting out. But thank you all for the support so far.
Thank you so much. Keep it up. That was a quick 2020 review of our podcast there.
Now we do 2020 review of our teams.
So thank you guys so much. Just gonna touch upon some of the content. So first up, we're gonna talk about the matches that went past in the previous week. We're gonna review all the matches as a general sort of review, because we can't go into every match and review every single detail. It's gonna go above almost 2-3 hours, I reckon, because we had 3 games each. So, we're gonna have a look ahead to the week as well, which will be the second part of the topic. That includes our predicted lineup and scoreline, etc. We're going to have a year 2020 review as a third topic, how we feel about each of our clubs in the whole of the 2020. And then lastly, we're going to have a transfer section along with general football news across the world, including something I want to discuss, which is Cavani's ban as well.
That's a big one.
So first up, match reviews. Before we get into match reviews, right, I'm going to put you on the spotlight, Danny.
Yeah, sure.
I told you last week how many points will Arsenal get. You said 6 points. You ended up getting 3 flipping points. 9 flipping points.
9 points.
Talk to me about the review. Tell me how you feel.
We had the 3 points in Chelsea. That clearly was a huge turning point. Because you look at where we followed up on that. Honestly, like I said before, I said it's pointless winning such a huge game like that against Chelsea and then going and then flopping against Brighton, and then especially West Brom.
You had a good tough victory against Brighton, isn't it? 1-0.
Yeah, well, good tough one. We grinded it out, and obviously we had a lot of fatigue. Just 3 days playing after Boxing Day. Yeah, we played a very similar team. You know, we had like Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli. You know, I think we brought Aubameyang back into the team. Yeah, we took Lacazette out, which you could debate because he was in form, and obviously we had yesterday, which I'll get on to.
He scored what 4 goals in 3 games now?
Exactly, he's in form.
Yep.
He's actually
in form now.
He's he's at the moment on form right now. He's outplaying Aubameyang, and that's just bizarre to say, isn't it? Like since Aubameyang's under contract, I think it's almost like the switched bodies. That's what a lot of Arsenal fans have been saying. But obviously, since the Chelsea game, we followed that up, and we played a similar team. You know, we had Kieran Tierney, Pablo Mari, Rob Holding. You know, we stayed with that back line. We kept Bellerin in there. Xhaka and El Neni played.
So you had a consistent back line across sort of the whole week.
Yeah, consider back line. Like considering Gabriel was out with COVID, we brought Pablo Mari in, and flipping, he's done a really great job. So mad props to him. And he only cost us, I believe, £4 million when we signed him last January. So considering the value for money you're getting from him, it's really fantastic. And
certainly this week he's paid off the £4 million this week for Arsenal for sure.
Yeah, just a week alone, you know, just as Gabriel's been out with coronavirus, you know, hope he's back soon. I think he's back in the next match, but like in the next match. But Pablo Mari has come in and he's done the job, so I'm not complaining about that. At the moment, I'm not too fussed about the defense, because we've kept 2 clean sheets in the last game since we last spoke in the last.
Well, you guys kept. You won 3-0 against Arsenal, 1-0 against. Sorry, it's Chelsea. Sorry,
yeah, 3-1 against Chelsea. Yeah,
3-1. Okay. I thought
it wasn't a clean
sheet. Kept a clean sheet.
But
you kept clean sheets.
Yeah, against Brighton away, which obviously they've been a bogey team of ours.
They were a bogey team. You did say that last time.
Yeah, last June, you know what happened. You know, but this time round, I think. Yeah, and this time round, it's not us that were having the problems. It was them. So. Mopai, you're a cheat. I hope you get relegated. You know, if you know that means.
Famous words of a legend.
Yeah, anyone who's a real one will know what I'm on about there.
But yep.
Like Brighton did play a weaker team, to be fair to them. Like, you know, they've had their own problems with fatigue. I think they played.
I think they had their own problems. And
I think Mopai and Welbeck are rested. Like the main danger man I said would probably cause problems for us. But they did play Jahan Baksh, he's a decent player.
Yeah,
they have like the Bissouma, which we ourselves have been targeting as a potential transfer. Like he's one of the rumours that have been going around. Yeah, he's quite a rested team from them, but overall, I think us playing consistently with the team we had, and we didn't rest many players. I think we should rest 1 or 2 players. Like we rested Martinelli in the West Brom game, and we obviously it was a well-earned rest because he came back from injury. Yeah, he came back from injury. 3 games straight he played after he came from injury, so he deserved that rest. But can I just say, Emil Smith Rowe, what a player! He's coming. Like I was singing gospel around last episode. He's coming and he's doing absolute bits again. Like if you see the West Brom game, Brighton game was kind of bland. Like the first half it was slow. Second half he picked it up more. Lacazette came on. I think it was within I think it was his first touch, 21 seconds after he came on. Really? Yeah, straight away goal. So I'm really happy. I'm really happy for Lacazette at the moment. He's turned it around. I remember a month or 2 ago when he was in that bad patch of form, Lacazette was one of the heavily criticised ones, along with Granit Xhaka. Aubameyang, because he's the captain. By the way, he's been. Even though we've stepped it up again, he's been one of the few cons at the moment. Like I think he struggled to get on the score sheet still, even in that 4-0 battering of West Brom yesterday. Which I'll get on to. Like we gave Martinelli a well-earned rest, but we did not need him. You know, we brought in Aubameyang and Lacazette together again for the first time in a little while. And instead of El Neni, we brought in Ceballos again for that creativity. Yeah. And obviously, our creative side came out again. You know, we had Ceballos, you have Smith Rowe, Saka, Lacazette getting 2 goals again. So you know he's still on the firing line. Can I just make way for Tierney's goal? What an absolute banger!
It was a belter,
sensational goal. I don't care what anyone says. He's one of the best left backs in the league. I don't even care. Like Robertson,
he's one of the, I think, in form.
In form, yeah, he's underrated. Like you got like Tellez, which obviously I rate too. Don't get me wrong, I rate Tellez as well. A lot of Arsenal fans slandering him, but I think he's a great player. We got Robertson, who's I still think is the best left back in the league. Also, his fellow Scotsman. But that move, how he just flicked the ball past the West Brom defender and then curled it.
he is a proper player. As in, have you seen? It was snowing, it was cold, and he had nothing
He had
on.
his t-shirts and his shorts on, and he said after the match, he hurts nobody. This playing in Scotland, he hurts nobody. In his Scottish accent. So, but yeah, he's a Scottish warrior. Like he's got the mentality.
He's a pure warrior, and I think Arsenal need this right now. All fighters, fighters in the team.
He's a fighter, and like he's got that pure Scottish like heart in his performances.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think
it's actually mad if you think about it, because Tierney, he was on the pitch, like he said, in his t-shirts and shorts, while everyone else was wrapped up warm with snoods and woolly hats and tights and everything, and he was there like it was a hot summer's day for him, like back in Scotland compared to here. I mean, it's nothing for him, isn't it? Like I said, you said he hurts nobody, and he's probably used to those conditions, so he worked in his favour. That move was reminiscent of Roberto Carlos. This guy's a Scottish Roberto Carlos. He's Kieran Carlos.
He's obviously one of our best players this season. I said it even a couple episodes
ago. He has been.
Yeah, this is in what's been a poor season to start off with. This could well be the turning point to set Chelsea game. I hope that we can go on a run now.
While we're on this subject, can I just stop you for a second, right?
Yeah, no problem.
So in regards to Tierney, I play Football Manager a lot, right?
Yeah.
In previous seasons, you're talking about FM 16, 17 and below. One of the players I always sign and one of the players that is dubbed as a wonder kid on the left back position, is Tierney. And I always sign him for Manchester United. So I was super upset when Arsenal
he was a brilliant bit of business. I mean, back in 2019 summer, we signed him for £25 million, considering what the value again from his value must have skyrocketed recently.
And he's potentially a future captain as well.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, like if it was up to me, I'd give him the armband right now. No disrespect to Aubameyang, like. He's one of my best players.
Aubameyang.
Whether he's a captain mentality is debatable.
In terms of quality player, Aubameyang is a good player, but in terms of the spirit, that's what you need.
The leadership, like how you guys with Bruno Fernandes.
Fearless
warrior. He's got the mentality, like to motivate the other players.
Is a good shout. He's still young. How old is he again?
I think he's 23 at the moment, so he's still very young.
He's still got.
Yeah, we signed him when we could, especially for the price.
Tierney is a great bit of business, and looking back on the week overall, I'll say you're definitely happy.
Happy. 9 points out of 9 over the Christmas period. I'm excited.
So I'm just gonna look at the table for you, right? So Arsenal are now closer to the top.
I was about to mention that.
To the bottom.
Don't say we're in a relegation battle anymore, because if you say we're in a relegation battle, you can say we're in a title race, okay? Because we're 10 points off the top, but 12 points off the relegation zone.
Yeah, that's fair. And it's
the tables have turned.
It's such a huge contrast where it was all doom and gloom just last week, and in the space of a week. That's
the beauty of this game and the beauty of this season.
This is so different.
Can change.
More importantly, yes, you got the points in the bag, but your goal difference is now positive now, which is plus.
It's positive, from how many goals we shipped at the earlier part of the season. And and especially that win yesterday, we made the most of it. We could have got even more if he wasn't
got more if Arsenal
wasn't for Johnston.
I watched the game yesterday, so I sat down because yesterday was a Saturday, and I thought United already played. Let's see Arsenal, because I knew we had the podcast going on, and I thought I need to banter Danny a bit if they lose. So I need to be kind of
And Big Sam needs to shut his mouth, because he
needs to shut. He hasn't been back in the Premier League for 2 weeks, and he's
already wants a break. He wants to be furloughed. The man's been back in work for 2 weeks.
You guys certainly sent him back to furlough last night.
Exactly. But
what a game! I mean, honestly, I'm happy for Arsenal. Ultimately, no matter the rivalry. I want Arsenal to be in the league. I don't believe they deserve to be where they were in the start of the season.
Thank you for admitting that. That's fair play to you. Respect you there.
But I'm glad that they're up in the league, and I think the run that you guys are going to put together, and again, we'll preview in the next chapter your upcoming games. I think if you can get a few more wins under your belt now, you guys will be propelled up, because looking at the table right now, right? I'm looking at the table.
I think we're only 3 points off Chelsea, and I think we were
Chelsea lost. Chelsea got hammered.
Yeah,
right?
they got hammered just by Man City just before.
But if you look at the table now, you guys are 6 points off the top 4.
It's mad. We're 11 to 23 points, 6 points. That's how weird this season has been. Everyone's beaten everyone,
and
isn't it?
6 points. To be frank, 6 points is nothing. It's nothing.
It's nothing. Like, and consider the fact that we've got Crystal Palace and Newcastle in our next league games. Obviously, we've got the FA Cup next week.
Yeah, okay,
it's in our hands.
I didn't know that. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, but it is in our hands. That's the point now to get back in the. And I kind of just say, I know I'm still Arteta out, like until we get in a serious run, but mad props to him. Like huge praise to him. If he can prove us wrong, like when I'm saying that he's out of his depth and he's not ready for the job yet. If he can go and prove me wrong, then I'm all for that. If you can get the backing, if you can get signed the players, if you can turn these average players into better players, like he has been doing recently in the recent run of form, then I'm all for that, and I'll become a supporter over time. I think that's what I'll say. Brilliant. But like if you look at the second goal of ours against West Brom as well, obviously 4 fantastic worked goals, but the second one especially, if you watch it back,
that was like a one-touch movement. That was like a vintage Arsenal.
Yeah, vintage Arsenal. Arsene Wenger will be watching that in his mansion
and be very proud,
smiling and being proud, looking down on us. Like you look at how the tiki-taka passing move. You got Smith Rowe, Saka, Lincoln. Sublime.
I was watching this match. I was watching that match, and I had nightmares. Like, what is this? The Arsenal from?
This is like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and you battered you 3-0. You know, with Sanchez and Özil. If you remember that, like it reminds me of those days. That goal reminiscence. If you could keep producing like that, then I'll start supporting him again. Like, I'm all for it at the moment. But right now, I'm still obviously I can't forget the damage that he needs to reverse. Yeah. But there's obviously there's still points to be played for, points to be dropped as well. So hopefully we can follow it on. It's about consistency now, isn't it? Even Tierney said it himself after the game.
It's about consistency. Even if you get a 1-0 dodgy win or 10-0 win, it's about the 3 points now.
Yeah, exactly. It's about 3 points, getting the goal difference and climbing back up that table slowly but surely. And hopefully by the end of the season we'll be in a much better. Maybe by February, maybe could be back up in the top 4 again. Surely.
Fantastic. So overall, in your match reviews of the past week,
it's a perfect game week. Like, I think this is the first week, Jenny, I can say maybe since the United against you at the start of the podcast, I can say that it's been a fantastic game week. 9 points out of 9, including the Chelsea game from last week.
Maximum points, I think.
Maximum points going into 2021.
Looking at the table for you now, just before we end this part of the segment, only Man City and Arsenal have got maximum points in the last 3 games.
There you go.
So you guys are kind of pulling your weight big time.
Even Man City are recovering slowly. Even you guys, obviously, we're going to you guys, but we were both happy this week. That's the point, innit?
Yeah.
So, absolutely fantastic. So, that's awesome. Me, you know.
Cool. Should we go
wait, one more thing. Sorry, Thomas Partey has been injured recently. Imagine when he comes back into the midfield.
Exactly. It's going to be
exactly. Gabriel comes back from COVID, and we've had these performances without those 2 players. Can you imagine when they come back in? Like, it's going to be insane.
Partey is someone that will definitely improve the team.
It's very, very, very promising at the moment. But I won't get too ahead of myself. I won't get too carried away. But 9 points.
All can change within a week, as we've seen.
Yeah, it all can change within a week, as we've seen in the last in the positive way to change. But it can change the other way as well. But obviously, I can't be more happier this game week. I'm not complaining right now. 9 points out of 9. Yeah, awesome. That's me with Arsenal.
Cool. In regards to Manchester United, so I think we covered Leicester's game last podcast.
Yeah, Leicester's game last podcast.
Because we just literally played and we played the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So but before you go into the review, I just want to ask you, start with my questioning. Is that, can you go on a title chart second half of the season?
We'll come back to that. Jesus Christ. Straight for the...
I'm straight go. You want to review the matches first?
I'm just going to talk about the matches quickly. So, against Wolves, obviously, it was a boring game. Wolves defended really deep, but...
that was pretty...
Yeah, we got the goal right at the end. And sometimes, I think, with the title races, and we've been there before with Arsenal and Manchester United, you have to win ugly. You need to get very lucky and get those 1-0 wins, right? Yeah. And so I was happy with the result, not the performance. I think the performance, we looked a bit tired after Leicester game and to play Wolves. And Wolves had
you did, but you looked very tired, obviously.
Wolves had a week off as well, so it was a bit...
Yeah, they had a week off, and you were like us, you played 3 days after the Boxing Day match.
Coming back into Aston Villa, what a contrast of games, right? I watched the Aston Villa United game, and it was a fantastic game of football. Both teams attacked. It was full of flair. Grealish, what a player. he is.
Yeah, what a player! Yeah,
And we'll come back to him in that transfer section, by the way.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
And United, obviously, Bruno Fernandes getting a penalty. In my opinion, it wasn't a
Fernandes. Yeah, that was controversial. I saw Douglas Luiz who gave away the penalty after the match. He was complaining about it. So
I don't think it was a penalty, but in the overall scope of the game, we've had the better of the chances. Obviously, right at the end, they had to push, and they are, to be frank, we have one of the worst home records, as you know, in the Premier League.
You're slowly starting to turn that around, though, considering
Aston Villa have the third best away record in the Premier League.
Yeah, they came to the Emirates to bat us, so we know.
I think I can't remember, was it City being number 1, then Manchester United being number 2, then it was Aston Villa. But I know for sure Aston Villa has the third best away record. So I knew the game was tough.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be tough from the start. Watkins,
and they're in a great. Before that game, they were in a great position, isn't it? They were just hovering around 5th, 6th, and 7th. And they score a lot of goals. They scored 29 goals, which is the most goals outside of the top 4. Barring Chelsea. I think Chelsea's gone down, and Leeds.
Dark horses for sure.
So they've had a fantastic season so far for Aston Villa, considering the fact that they just came out of a championship last season or the season before that. They've only this is the second season back in the Premier League.
They escaped relegation by 1 point last season, considering that. They've improved drastically this season.
But in going back into Manchester United, I was really happy to see the squad playing their part. It seems like everybody coming on wants to fight, because I think there is a sort of like a belief that, hang on, we can challenge the title. And you see the attitude change on, say, someone like Paul Pogba. I never seen him.
I was going to mention him, like him playing on the left wing. What do you think about that?
So he played on the left side of the wing, but not an out-and-out winger, but like a left side pivot sort of thing. Attacking midfielder side. And what was most impressive about him is, obviously we know how good he is on the ball, but off the ball he was running his socks off.
He's got the work rate that you need in that midfield.
So I was like so confused. Like, is this the same Paul Pogba?
Exactly. Like, if you remember a couple of episodes about, you were ranting about he's got no legacy to leave behind. Just imagine if he propelled them to some kind of charge for a trophy.
I was happy for Anthony Martial. Obviously, he's got a lot of stick from United fans as well. That he hasn't
rival fan and United fans.
He hasn't scored any goals, but he scored, I think, 3 goals in his last 3 games.
Props to him. All right, Martial is a baller. He's a good player.
So he's coming back into form. Rashford is not in form. There's a couple of players
not particularly in form, but didn't he get the winning goal against Wolves? I know he's deflected.
But for Rashford, he hasn't scored as many goals as he normally does, and a lot of there was a couple of chances against Wolves where Rashford should have buried it, and he didn't bury it. Same with Anthony Martial.
He could take his chances more.
So there is another level for me for Rashford to go up, but I think that will come over time. He needs a bloody rest. He hasn't. He's played nearly.
Rashford and Bruno. It's been like your son. And very dependent.
Three players in our squad. I'm not counting the goalkeeper, because goalkeepers generally they don't need rest. But 3 players in our first 11 is Harry Maguire, Rashford, and Bruno Fernandes. They are always in the starting lineup.
There was
this interesting stat I read the other day. Harry Maguire is the only footballer in the world football that has played every minute of 2020. So
every single in the calendar year 2020.
Yes,
he never got injured even once.
He wasn't. That's the thing with Harry Maguire. He doesn't get injured as much.
That is actually nice. Mad.
And I think that's where I think his fitness levels are really, really good. Harry Maguire.
That's another thing about him. He's not injury prone whatsoever.
And you know what? Harry Maguire, the last 2 games, looks like an absolute monster of a defender.
He's changed. Like, now he's playing more.
You know why he's changed? You know why he's changed? And I'm gonna say, my man of the week, Eric Bailly.
Eric Bailly. I was about to say that block, just that block alone at the end of the Villa match.
The block in the end is a 3 points.
That's as important as a goal. That is.
Exactly. But Harry Maguire, we've said it so many times. I've said it in the podcast so many times. He needs a defender that is pacey around him. Lindelof and Maguire doesn't work because both of them are slow, and Eric Bailly cleans up behind Harry Maguire, and that enables Harry Maguire to play with more confidence, because he knows that if he makes a mistake, Eric Bailly will just run 100 meters in 9 seconds. And
he's pacey, but he's the opposite of Maguire in the sense that he gets injury prone.
That's the problem with Eric Bailly. He gets injury. So
again, can you imagine if Ole says, "Oh, I'm not going to go sign a centre back," now because I got Bailly. And then
we come back
February
to
the 1st, he gets injured. But
for the week, for me, aside from the Leicester game, which is not a very bad away, draw. Leicester is a tough team, but the two games we played especially against Aston Villa,
that was a huge one, for sure.
I was happy with the result. Joint first, obviously goal difference counts, so I'll say we're second in the league. But current form,
so you joint top, aren't you? You joint top.
But with goal difference, I thought,
goal difference is still second. At least you admit that.
Liverpool will play tomorrow, I believe. Their game.
Then they'll probably
which will mean that they've played an extra game before us.
Yeah, and you got a game in hand.
We still got a game in hand, which has been moved to. Now we know the date that we're gonna have the game in hand, which is 3 days before we play Liverpool. So
who's it against, by the way?
Yeah, Burnley.
Oh, Burnley, that should be alright.
Yeah, that was a game in hand. But on current league form, in the past 5 games, United have the best record with 4 wins, 1 draw. So I was super happy with how we are going on about. And that's it. That's literally my review for the whole week. Should we move on to
did you say your player of the week was
player of the week was Eric Bailly for me?
Yeah, I don't think I touched on mine. I think if you were asking me this last week, I would have said Saka. Obviously, he's in form, but for me, it's got to be my left back, my future captain,
Tierney.
Tierney.
I was gonna fight with you if you said Saka.
Yeah, Saka's been great. He's been in form, don't get me wrong, but I have to say Tierney is my left back, my future captain. But that's my player of the week.
Excellent. Right, so we want to the next segment, which is the review, right?
The 2020 year in review,
So I spoke last. I spoke a lot. You tell me about how you feel about 2020, the transfers, the tactics, what you think, etc., etc. Go for it.
Yeah, I'll go for the calendar year overall. So including last season. Obviously, I'll go into about my side of things. But let's just say again, Happy New Year. Like everyone, I hope you've had a healthy, Happy New Year celebration and everything, even if you're in quarantine. But going on to Arsenal, like obviously going into 2020 was a bit weird one because we just sacked Unai Emery. We bought Mikel Arteta in. He was his first month, I believe. I think in the first week of the job.
Yeah, a lot of uncertainty, isn't it, at that time?
Yeah, you had Chelsea on Boxing Day. Obviously, it was uncertain. And then on Boxing Day 2019, we had, I think, a couple of days after Boxing Day 2019, I think it was like 29th, something like that. I don't know the exact date, but basically, he was in his first week. I think he got appointed around Christmas time. And then I think we were unlucky to lose that game. It was his first game. It was a tough one first. And then on New Year's Day, we had you guys, the Emirates. We had Nicolas Pepe score the curler. Yeah, that's another thing about Pepe. Like I don't know what's happened to him since, but obviously that's another thing. Like he hasn't been playing him because of the youngsters, but like I think Pepe overall had a good 2020. His first full year as an Arsenal player. January, February, March, and then you had the pandemic. Arteta was the first guy to get out of the mainstream managers to get the virus. Remember the shockwave around that. But considering he had COVID, like that, even Edu said it ahead of recruitment. He said that it's not fair to criticize Mikel too much because, as I said on a previous episode, that it's not fair to criticize him because of the year he had. It was very tough. He had the virus, then he came back, and yet even then he came back. He came back in the lockdown, and then we still end up winning a trophy and obviously a Community Shield. Yeah. Whether you want to count that or not, that's still. But 2 pieces of silverware.
FA Cup would be a highlight of the year, isn't it? Definitely.
Yeah, FA Cup is definitely the best moment of our year, single-handedly. That final. Aubameyang scoring those goals against Chelsea, against Man City as well in the semi-final.
Yeah,
fantastic goals there. And obviously we won the Community Shield against Liverpool. We had some good wins. We had you guys, Man United. We had Chelsea.
Yeah, you beat us twice that year, isn't it?
Yeah, we beat on New Year's Day. Then we beat you on the 1st of November. Old Trafford. That's actually crazy. Yeah. And so I'm happy with that at the moment. On head-to-head, we're better on head-to-head. But obviously,
true.
In the league, you're higher than us, fair enough. But we beat Chelsea. I think we beat Liverpool at the end of last season. So we beat Man City. So Mikel Arteta, he's got like a knack to managing the big games, sort of like Ole in a way. And he started already. It was his first full year, and I know the end of the year could have ended in him being sacked without even being a full year. So
true. Which would have been super harsh for me.
Yeah, super harsh. But I mean, you saw the run we were in. You saw how angry. Me and all of us Arsenal fans were. It was very, very hostile, the fan base.
Yeah. And rightly so, because there were some dreadful games.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm happy that we turned it. Even similar to you guys, you started the season off quite sticky. Like you had the 6-1 loss to Spurs, obviously. That's on your side of things, but like the way he ended, I'm glad he ended it on a positive note. Considering like most of the back end was like, He considered most of the backing going to this season. Obviously, we had a transfer window over the summer with the whole transfer windows linked with our, and then it fell through. I remember everyone was angry about that as well because that was a key creative player we needed. And that's another thing for the transfers segment as well. Like, we'll get onto that. But the summer transfer window was heavily linked with him. We didn't go with him. We ended up with Partey. People were still happy about it, but I still feel like we could have done more.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Partey is a fantastic player, but Arsenal needed.
But he's not the creative player we need. Like, he's a midfield general like Vieira was. Like, he's like kind of like that ilk of player. But we got Gabriel. We needed a decent young centre back with a lot of potential. We got that. But I still think we need a centre forward. Lacazette's in form, but I think we need another one because other than Lacazette, we've only really got Nketiah as an out and out option.
And also you must consider that Aubameyang is getting old.
Yeah, exactly. Before he was linked with Zaha, I think he's in that age where it's like, do you want to take a risk on him, or would you rather go for someone younger? Do you get me? So someone like a Haaland-esque player. I'm not saying we go for Haaland, but
Haaland will be a dream player for any club, right?
Yeah. That's another thing, like a transfer probably for you guys, isn't it? Like, but we do definitely need a centre forward going into this year, like, and it's creative play. I think that's another thing that's going to carry over into this year, like that thing, because we didn't sign anyone in the summer transfer window, and that's probably a lot of what the blame was towards for the poor start to the season.
Yeah, it's the board, isn't it? They held Arteta's hand backwards, so.
Yeah, the board criticized, Edu criticized, the Vinay, the CEO, the Kroenke's owners, but rightly so for sure. But at the end of the day, we got silverware. It was obviously 2020 in general was a horrible year. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out, but
it was
overall we even in such a bad year, in one of our worst seasons ever, probably like 8th place finish. Like we never finished that low under Wenger.
Yeah, I mean 8th place finish, and some of the results were so dreadful.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the results were so dreadful, but considering it's Arteta's first year in charge, like he's still managed to pick up silverware.
Arsenal was very, very lost at that time. They were
we were lost for a lot of the year, but at the end of the day, we still found light at the end of the tunnel in the sense that we got a cup. Like, you guys still are yet to win silver under Ole. Ole's still doing a good job at the moment.
Exactly. I agree with you. Like, at the end of the day, trophies is the most important thing. That's
the successful part. I don't think we should get too carried away, but FA Cup is still a major trophy. Still
I count FA Cup as a major trophy. Yes, 100%.
Exactly. Of course, it's one of the biggest, especially in this country. So it's the most traditional competition, older than the Premier League, isn't it?
The oldest cup competition in world football.
Yeah, oldest cup competition in world football.
To it, guys.
Put some respect on the legacy of the cup. It's such a dark year in general, and for us as a club, and for Mikel Arteta, who still came out of it and won a trophy. I think overall, it was a topsy-turvy year, but to still win a trophy, I think massive respect to him, and I pray for the best in 2021. Like, if he can turn it around or not, we'll have to wait and see. But let's see. 2020 was a so-and-so year. I'm just happy we got silverware at the end of it. But that's it really. Just hope that
awesome.
Pandemic can
I'm gonna ask you one last question though.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Who has been your player of the year?
Oh, player of the year. That's an interesting one, though. Obviously, that's a teeny for player of the week, but over the year, it's probably. I know Aubameyang's out of form right now, but I think it would be unfair not to give it to him, isn't it?
Because obviously this is.
Yeah, even when you finish, if you look at especially last season, he was one goal off the golden boot from Jamie Vardy.
And he scored a lot of important goals in the semi-final.
A lot of important goals in the semi-final, final of the cup, and in the league. If it wasn't for him, we would have finished even lower than 8th.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. Player of the week is Tierney, but
and player of the 2020 has to be Aubameyang, even though he's out of form right this moment.
Yeah,
in 2020 he got the key goals. He was our captain, and he directed us through. Him and Arteta together dragged us through the darkness of 2020. So props to him, and I hope he can revitalize that form again, get that back in gear again.
Awesome. The 2021 is already looking bright for Arsenal, it seems.
Yeah. Hopefully, just praying that it could be a much better year than last year. Can build on that FA Cup victory. Hope he can win.
As long as you're below United, I'm happy.
Oh, come on now. We need to the season.
You can finish second as long as you finish first.
At any time you can change, Robin. You got to. Be careful, and we're on your tail.
100%.
That's it for me. Yeah.
Okay, my year of 2020. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I felt United had a very inconsistent year. We know that very well. It's been topsy-turvy.
Yeah, similar to us then.
I think towards the end of when we had the restart of the Premier League after the COVID break, I think it was more to do with finishing in the top 4, and I think we just about made it to the top 4. And there was a lot of concerns around the club that we needed certain signings, certain support for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I was complaining along with a lot of fans that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't have many tactics, his substitutions were wrong, and it was a lot of frustration. I think the 2020 for Manchester United overall, obviously we've had a very good last month, but overall it's been a lot of frustration.
And you was all out for pretty much.
Yeah. I still am.
You still are at the moment. Yeah.
Frustration in the sense that we didn't have tactics or just one type tactic. The substitutions were wrong, the lineup was wrong, and it was in a consistent base. We've beaten good teams in the league, City and everyone, but then we lost against teams like Crystal Palace.
I remember that. Yeah.
Getting knocked out of the Champions League so soon in the group stage. Where we had such a strong lead. So it was a lot of frustration and everything.
That's the way you got demoted to Europa League, and now you got to deal with the Thursday night football.
Yeah,
it's going to affect your league performances.
Yeah,
as well.
and seeing the likes of, say, Harry Maguire, who's costed us that much, to be performing in such an average way, being the club captain. Seeing the likes of Paul Pogba and the circus that he's bringing with Mina Royola, it was all frustrating for me.
That was dramatic. Yeah,
it was all frustrating for me in 2020. There was a lot of problems, a lot of rumors around the club, or he's gonna get the sack, etc.
Another trophyless calendar year for you guys as well.
And another trophyless.
It's a big club like Man United or Arsenal. You want to be winning trophies. That's the first priority.
I was in a podcast in the summer, over the summer, right?
Another one,
So I normally do a podcast with the 100%. They're called 100% Red Devils. So only now. But I haven't done a podcast for 4 or 5 months with them.
And then we decided to start this one. Eventually.
So I just got a message from Twitter from one of the guys, Old Man G. Big shout out to you, bro. He messaged me saying that he's planning to restart the podcast again because he misses it. I'm I'm all down for it, 100%. I gave you my time.
We could do 2 podcasts then.
But that gets uploaded in his channel. It's not my thing, so
you're just like a guest.
I'm just part of the community. There's like 6-7 of us that's part of the community that we kind of do podcasts together. But I don't see my YouTube channel as a podcast channel, so hence why I don't do it on my channel. Obviously, in your case, being relatives and everything, that helps. I thought, I want to have that.
And we're co-hosts,
Yes, exactly.
You're not just a guest, you're
exactly. So I thought, hang on, I'll do that. But I was in his podcast, and the debate was going on around, and that was towards the end of last season, where United were fighting for top 4, and we were in the semi-final of 2 competitions, right? We were in the Europa League semi-final. We were in the FA Cup.
You were, weren't you?
FA Cup semi-final, and
they asked. I actually tipped you guys to beat Chelsea. I was surprised that.
One of the question posed in that podcast, and this is overall sums up for me United currently and in 2020 is: would you rather take top 4 or a trophy? Right?
For me, it's a trophy because
I said 100% United needs to be winning trophies. Forget the top 4 if we need to sacrifice the player strongest team. Some of them, I wouldn't name names, didn't agree with it, and that's how low some of
you honestly think Champions League just qualify for the Champions League is better than winning the whole trophy.
And for me, that summed up United for the whole year, where fans was more than happy with just top 4 finish rather than having a trophy.
That was like during the Wenger days. A lot of the days were like that. We were just happy to get top 4. And
I posed the question that this is what we have become mentally. Don't let the board do that to you, where just feeding us constantly, get top 4, get in the Champions League because they get the money. We don't. Whereas trophy is more important. So it was a lot of frustrated year. That will be my 2020 full-on Manchester United lineup. And
I get that.
Probably that podcast kind of summed up the whole environment for me. Looking back in 2020, my player of the year has to be one person. I mean, you can even guess him.
I can just.
It's Fernandes.
And he joined at the start.
He joined in January, and he has been a revelation since. It seems like he's been
single-handedly taking you guys.
And he's still doing it. He's still doing it.
And the fact that he only came in last January, right at the start of 2020.
It seems like it does seem like he's been there for the club for 2-3 years. And I look back, I'm thinking, hang on, he only came in January.
Exactly, like, and you that's the kind of signing we need, like a Bruno S signing. I know
And
like
Bruno,
he came in and the impact he made, like, to adapt from the Portuguese league.
Right
like,
now, his stats with goals and assists right now is in the top 5 in world football.
Yeah, disgusting stats at the moment. Like,
and people say a lot of penalties, blah blah blah. He's only scored 5 penalties or 4 penalties.
Yeah, and a lot of rival fans say that, but like,
I know.
I know. He got so much more than just penalties. Like, he's got technical abilities.
And the leadership, like what you talked about, the warrior spirit in Tierney. Like,
he's got the mentality like
Tierney doesn't have to get 10 assists or 20 goals a season, but you know his value, what he brings.
Exactly, as a mentality.
And that's what Bruno Fernandes, obviously the bonus is he's getting the goals and assists, but even if he didn't get the goals and assists, the way he fights, the way he
I get that. He's as a number 10, he's doing his job, he's getting the goals, getting the assists.
Absolutely. And
that's what you want.
And to sum my thing up, I was watching the Leeds game, and the commentator said there was, I can't remember who is Leeds United CDM, but the commentator said that he is man marking Bruno Fernandes. There is no point man marking Bruno Fernandes because he's going to take you out for a walk. What Bruno Fernandes does, I've noticed in the last few games, as soon as he said that, you know what, I'm going to keep an eye on Bruno Fernandes in the games off the ball. When he gets man marked, you know what he does? He goes to the touchline for a few seconds and comes back in. So that enables the CDM, who's supposed to be man marking him, to tell him, come to the touchline with me. Because if he leaves his position, that's it. They got no CDM. And that's how he confuses the CDM all the time. He goes to the touchline for a few seconds and goes back in the center. So he's like, even if you mark him, either if you man mark him, you're going to the touchline with him every 10 minutes, which means that you have no CDM. But that's the thing that I noticed with Bruno Fernandes, especially after what the commentator said.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so have a look at it. In the next few games, have a look at Bruno Fernandes. He's not.
No, it's the smaller details.
He's not your traditional number 10 where he sits in the number 10 position, but he drifts to the wide areas and he goes and stays there for a few seconds, telling the CDM to come and mark him there. And if the CDM leaves his position, what happened to the CDM at Leeds? As soon as he left his position to go with Bruno Fernandes, McTominay kept running in and scored 2 goals.
Oh, yeah. he's got a knack. He's got like a brain, footballing.
He's got a brain. But that's it. That's the thank you for Danny for your contribution as well for the year 2020. And
thank you to you too. And 2020 was a year we can say we can
finally close the chapter on year 2020 now, right?
Yeah, in review. Yeah.
Thank God.
Hell of a year. Thank God. Good riddance.
Now, our next segment before we get into the transfer section and the general news is going to be the look ahead, the fixtures ahead. So for Arsenal, Danny will talk about the Arsenal fixtures, etc., that's coming up. And I'll talk about the United up until, I think we'll cover up until next week, Sunday.
Yeah, up until next week, Sunday. Yeah, obviously it's a weird one because you guys have, I believe, got 2 fixtures in the next week. But because we're out of the Carabao Cup now, I think we won't play till next weekend, which is obviously the first FA Cup weekend of the year.
Yes.
It's not league. This we're going to be previewing.
Okay. So who have you got in the FA? Let's talk about the FA Cup. Then give me your preview.
FA Cup, obviously, like I just said about in the 2020 review.
You got Newcastle, right?
Yeah, we've got Newcastle United at home. Obviously, Newcastle have been out of sorts. They've been out of form. One of the worst teams in the league, I think. I don't know about you, but yeah, we're defending the FA Cup. So obviously, it's a huge thing. We need to take this much more seriously than we took the EFL Cup. I think we should still play.
You're the defending champions. Everyone will be looking to beat you.
Yeah, we're the defending champions. Who have you guys got in the FA Cup?
We've got Watford.
You've got a lower league side. Like this season, they're a lower league side. So looking at you guys compared to us, you got a lucky draw. We've actually still got a Premier League team. Like considering the FA Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
You could get a side from any like tier. Like look at Tottenham Hotspur. I believe they've got a non-league team like called Marine FC or something like that. So considering that, and I think and Chelsea's got, I think, Morecambe from League 2, like last time I checked. So, like considering rivals, like in our Premier League rivals, we've actually got probably the toughest one. Like we got the Premier League, we're still in the same league, but especially considering that, I think we should still go with a strong team. Like I think we should not go with Alex Runarsson. Like I don't know if I told you, but in the Carabao Cup when we went out, he had a stinker. I don't know if you saw the blunders like he gave away.
I didn't think I did.
Yeah. So if you go back and look at it, it's horrific. So like, if you consider how we sold Emi Martinez to Aston Villa, I don't think we should have. Like, he was a really good number 2. So I think we should
he's
still
having
go
a good season at Aston Villa, isn't it, Martinez?
Yeah, he's excellent season. I don't think we should just sold him, but that's another thing, you know. He was to fund that transfer. I get that, but There was all that more like dead wood. Like that's another thing with transfers. We've got to get the dead wood out, but we'll get onto that. I think we still got a strong team. Should I pick the lineups for you or for the Newcastle?
Yeah. Because it's just one game to cover, so go for the whole thing. Your predicted lineup, your predicted formation.
Yeah, I think it's a weird one because we've got the Newcastle on the Sunday or Saturday or Sunday next week. Saturday. It was on the 9th of January, so that's Saturday. Yeah, sorry, yeah. And then I think on the Thursday the following week, which is a weird day for a Premier League. I think we got Palace.
I'll double check that for you.
Yeah,
we've got Crystal Palace on that Thursday.
Yeah, I think, and then on the Monday after that, I think which is a weird day to have league games. We're not playing on the weekend, and then we got the Newcastle again in the league this time. But obviously, we'll preview that in the next episode, won't we? Yeah, so I'll get into that.
That'll be for the Sunday's episode where I think actually that Sunday's. Can I just stop you right there?
Yeah.
After the FA Cup weekend, our next podcast will be the 10th of January, which is a Sunday, right? Yeah. And we're gonna have Manchester United versus Liverpool preview because they played. They played them at 4:30 on a Sunday, which is 17th January, which is. We can have a review of that game straight after in our podcast. You'll
have an instant review the following.
Yeah, we'll have an instant review there
for the 10th.
That's
episode,
a big week, actually. Sorry, my bad. Carry on.
Yeah, some big games coming on. Yeah, no problem. But obviously, we got the FA Cup. We're defending that. I think we should take it very seriously, considering, 100%. Like I said before, we got the Premier. We're facing another Premier League team. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. And with Arsenal, we're like you guys. We're inconsistent. You can go on a mad one week like we did this week, and then if we're not careful, we could get knocked out in the first round. If we're not careful, we've got tough opponents, so we should go with a strong team. Play Leno, play Ainsley Maitland-Niles, give him a chance because I think we get Bellerin a chance. He's performed recently, but I think we shouldn't get carried away. Like he was one of the players I was criticising in that bad run of form. Him and Granit Xhaka.
He was criticised by a lot of Arsenal fans, actually.
Yeah, exactly. I think we should go Ainsley Maitland-Niles, give him a chance, see what he can do. Because, like I said, I'll probably rate him higher than Bellerin, I would say. Like I think, and he's younger as well, so he's got more to grow. And I think Gabriel will be back. I think we should give him some minutes before we go back into the league. Maybe give Pablo Mari another chance. I heard apparently that Gabriel and Pablo Mari, they're both left-sided centre backs. I think they both play on the same side. Yeah, so. Obviously, from a tactical standpoint, I don't think it could work particularly well playing them two together. So I don't know what Arteta will go with. He might play Holding and Marie or Holding and Gabriel. We'll have to wait, or maybe David Luiz will bring into the foray. But I think maybe we should give Gabriel some minutes definitely, and whoever he goes with, I don't mind as long as they don't mess up. They stay solid and compact how we've been in the last week. Give Tierney another go. That's another thing. We don't have any other left backs other than Tierney because on the transfer side of things, we've loaned out Kolasinac, which is part of the deadwood, which you need to get out. I think we should give Tierney more minutes. Saka, Martinelli should get back in the lineup, I think. Maybe give Aubameyang some money so he can get some confidence back.
Yeah.
Like FA Cup seems to be a tournament that he likes scoring in.
Yeah. So give him a confidence. That makes sense.
His goals last season won us the cup. So bring him back in. Maybe play him up front. Maybe give Lacazette a rest. Or play them together, I don't mind, but bring him back in. Hopefully, he gets a goal or two, and they can take that confidence into the league. And maybe I know there's another thing about Özil. Like it's January now, I can re-register him, whether he will or not. I wish he did, but I just can't see it happening, unfortunately. And considering that this is going to be his 8th year at the club, I think it's a bit of a shame how the way it might end. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think it was on the playmaking side of things. Maybe Smith Rowe again, or. Try to buy a stand. I know Partey's coming back from injury next week. I heard. That's what I'm hearing. Is that he'll be back, obviously.
To get some minutes in him as well. I think.
Partey... Gabriel and Partey, the two big signings that one of the bright highlights of this season so far. Bring them back in and give them some minutes again, ready for the league. And obviously, hopefully we win this, and then hopefully we get an easier opponent in the next round. Get a bit more luck here. Get maybe a lower league team like you guys have.
What's your predicted scoreline before we move on to my section?
Yeah, predicted scoreline. I'll probably say. Newcastle out of form. I think we won't rest too many players, especially considering that we're not playing in midweek. So I think maybe a 3-1, 3-0 maybe.
Big scoreline.
Yeah, but I think it'll be a big score. I think if we can play how we've been playing, fluidity like against West Brom and at home as well. I think we play a similar team. I think why not? We can go 3-0, 3-0 Arsenal by 4.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Danny. Well, I'll do my match preview for Manchester United and Man City in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, you got 2 to do.
So I've got 2 to do. I'm just going to touch on it quickly as an overall what I expect because I can't predict. You can't really predict what Ollie's going to use because thankfully we're in a position that we have very good squad depth, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
you are.
I would like to see, at least in the Manchester derby, 2 players play. I would love to see. One is Mason Greenwood. I think he needs time.
Yeah, he needs
more
some
minutes. And one is definitely Donny van der Beek. Right?
Yeah, definitely. Free Van der Beek.
What I expect in the semi-final is Oli is probably going to play half and half. I think we're going to retain a lot of the stronger squad. I think the likes of Maguire, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Fred, McTominay, I think they will play along with Rashford and Anthony Martial. But there are a few positions I feel that needs to be swapped out. I think Eric Bailly should be rested for this game because the league is more important than this.
Yeah, especially because he's injury prone. I think definitely.
Yeah. So I think I would love to see the other youngster, Tuanzebe, play next to Maguire, who's a pacey defender as well.
Tuanzebe is decent. He came in the Champions League.
Get some more minutes in him. I want to see Bruno Fernandes rested for at least one of those games out of the 2. So we've got obviously the FA Cup against Watford, which is much of an easier tie. But I think Bruno Fernandes needs a bit of a rest because the week after we got Liverpool and
you say that, but you don't forget that Ole still depends on him in the
it depends on him too much, and I think
too much, and that could work against you. Like you want to stay fit.
Yeah, exactly. What I do want to see in the next couple of games is to have maybe Dean Henderson 2 run-outs for the cup competition.
Yeah, he should definitely get a run-out for the.
He's a good keeper. So overall, I feel that it should be half and half. The players that I feel that needs to be rested right now in the next couple of games, or at least the FA Cup game, is Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford.
They need to be rested.
Yeah, the ones that I do want to see. I do want to see Mason Greenwood in the lineup in both those games. I do want to see Donny van der Beek given at least 2 games solid run. Right. In terms of the midfield, we got so many options. As you know, we got Bruno Fernandes, Donny van der Beek, Matic, Fred, Pogba. That's 6 midfielders we've got, right? So I have no idea what Oli will pick, but I think he's going to go for a stronger lineup.
He has his options there.
I think he's going to go for a stronger lineup against Man City because it is the Manchester derby. It is a semi-final. It's not two-legged.
Manchester derby and the cup semi-final. So
and it's not two-legged semi-final, by the way. It's one-legged at the moment.
He's not two-legged anymore, or
not for this season because of the fixture congestion and the pandemic that we're having.
That's fair play.
So we are at home to Manchester City currently. We've got a bit of an advantage. Obviously, Man City had a great result against Chelsea today. I think they're going to be fired up for that game as well. And also, Man City having a poor season by their standards, they'll probably want to win this game as much as we do. And they are the Carabao Cup specialists, right?
They are. They always seem to win that. So depends on that.
So ultimately, I do think with Man City is hopefully we don't get the crappy 0-0 we had not long ago. Because one of the teams there is no draw. One of the teams has to go out. So
that's obviously even if you draw, obviously you'll go down to the wire.
Exactly. But I do expect United to beat Man City. I think Man City do play into United hand a lot. They do push up forward. They like to control possession and press high up the pitch. And we are a very good counter-attacking team with the pace of Rashford, Anthony Martial, and Mason Greenwood up front. I think we can cause them serious damage. I do feel we're going to win. I do feel we're going to win 2-1 in that one. In regards to the FA Cup, as I said,
you reckon you'll go ahead and win the City game?
2-1.
I like your confidence. Fair play.
In regards to the Watford game, again, as I said, I prefer United to play a strong team against City because City is a semi-final. But in the FA Cup, because we got, as you said, a very easy tie, you can say. I would like to see a lot more youngsters given a bit of a run out. People like Hannibal Mejbri, who's been in the radar a lot. Ethan Laird. Being in
these are really like academy players, like we don't.
Really so Hannibal Mejbri has been tearing up in the academy. He's 18.
I can't say I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's a number 10 as well, so he can play.
Is he like your Smith Rowe then, basically?
Yeah. On the right side, we got Ethan Laird, who's the captain of the under-23s, and he's a very good right back. He hasn't been given a run at all.
Ethan Laird, I've heard about him like in Football Manager. And
career mode. So and Wan-Bissaka needs a bit of a rest. So I think playing him there against Watford would be nice. Generally speaking, I like to see again, as I said, Donny van der Beek and Mason Greenwood and
Van der Beek definitely needs to play like because how much money.
Looking at it overall, between the 2 games, if half the team gets rested in one game and half the team gets rested in another game, we're gonna have potentially a 1 week rest for all the players. right? Before we get into the Premier League again and the Liverpool game. Because mind you, between the time we play Liverpool, right? We play 2 games because we got the game in hand against Burnley, and then we got the Liverpool game, which means that Liverpool would have had a week rest before they.
Oh my, that is not fair. That is before you huge potential title decider.
Yeah, Liverpool will have a week's rest before they play Manchester United, and we would have had to play 2 games.
That's exactly why resting the players in these 2 cup games coming up.
Yeah, 2 cup games is absolutely key. So that's my overall gist of. I don't expect Ole to change the formation. I think 4-2-3-1 works for us currently. We have got some results, but against Watford, I'm gonna go for a predicted scoreline of 2-0. So I went for 2-1 and 2-0.
That's optimistic. So you think you'll get the 2 W's, yeah?
Yeah, 2 wins.
Can you imagine like a United Spurs final, and then maybe you get your revenge? Maybe I'll be rooting for you guys if that happens. But yeah,
that would be brilliant. Yeah. But that's my look ahead and the match preview of the game ahead. This segment is pretty much done. Thank you for those of you that's listened in so far.
Thank you for the retention. Thank you.
You are retained.
You're real ones.
Let's talk about general news around Arsenal, United, and transfers in the next segment. I'll start off because I feel that is something that I need to talk about. Is the Cavani ban?
Yeah, right? you go ahead and talk about that. Yeah.
Okay,
that's a big one, controversial.
How I see it is Cavani is not racist. He's posted something that in his culture and country is okay. But obviously it's a bit different. FA took too long, in my opinion, to make a decision of 3-game ban. He done that several weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't meant in vain, was it?
Yeah, so it took too long to take action. However, to work around it, and I want to get your opinion on this, is I think each club should appoint, obviously we got the scouts, coaches, etc. But I think each club, especially the bigger clubs where they can afford it, should appoint a cultural coach. What I mean by cultural coach is that
interesting.
Clubs like Manchester United and Arsenal, they can buy players from across the globe, right? To have a cultural coach
like South America.
To have a cultural coach with all these foreign players coming in will help them in a sense that everybody uses social media. It doesn't matter what country you're from, but to educate them, to come in and say you can't use words like this because that N-word in Uruguay is okay, but the N-word that's what Cavani used, isn't it? The N-word in the UK here is not okay, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They have 2 different meanings for each country, isn't it? So I think having a cultural coach, someone who can come in and say, okay, you can't do this, you can't do that, careful of this, because in your country this is fine, but in here this is not fine. And I think it's all about education. With all these sensitive points, subjects, it's all about education, right? Educate the players to not only on the field but off the field. Like these are the players.
You got a good point there.
Yeah, they are continental players. I mean,
both of us have got a lot of continental players. We got like a house to Brazilian players, for example.
Yeah.
So
it will kind of. I think it will help. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Like especially considering that in modern football, you got a lot of there's not too many homegrown players. Like it's more. You get like a couple of homegrown just to fit the quota, and the rest are like foreign players. You take advantage of having kind of South American and European players. So their culture might be different to what we have here. So they should be, tutored on what is right and what is wrong in this country. So I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's what I wanted to get off my chest. Cavani's ban is deserved. But I don't think his intentions were wrong. I don't think
his intention. I think it was something completely different. But the way that he should have thought about how other people could interpret it, I think.
Yeah. Since then, he's apologized. He's taken it off. But the need to have a cultural coach in, as you said, keyword modern football, is very, very important for me. But let's see what happens. It's my
obviously, at the end of the day, he's got his 3-match ban, so he could have come in handy in those cup games. So you got to improvise now without him. So Martial might be getting some
looking at the 3-match ban. So he had the ban in Villa. He's going to have the ban in Man City, and then Watford. He'll be back
for the league. Okay,
he'll be back for the Liverpool game. You can say the Liverpool week.
The big week.
And you know what? I'll say it to you right now. I'm going to say it right now. So remember this. Pin it down somewhere.
I'll clip it.
is when we do that podcast on that date,
Yeah.
and that will be straight after Liverpool game. You can ask me that question: is Manchester United in the title race?
Oh, what I asked before? You thought I was going too ahead.
At the moment, I don't know, but I can definitely answer that question after a Liverpool game.
Yeah. After that game, and it's about getting the consistent run. Like, will you fall apart or will you keep this together? What this honeymoon period right now, and purple patch. But yeah,
cool. Before we hit this transfer segment, I've done my Man United news. That's the big news coming out of United this week. It's the Cavani ban. Do you have any Arsenal general news that you want to talk about?
Well, at the moment, you got what's happening with Ozil. You know, it's mainly more transfer news. And like, there's been the debate: should we bring Ozil back as maybe someone to mentor and also to throw in that position? But obviously, if we don't, then what do we do? It's more to do with transfers. Like, do we go in and
I think one thing I can tell you is Wenger. Wenger came up with a quote this week, isn't it?
Oh yeah. That's.
You want to talk about that? What do you feel about that?
But so can you just remind me what it was?
Oh, he came out and said that if Arsenal need my help, he's willing to help.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I did say that. I forgot about it.
It's something along the lines of that.
It's been a mad week. It's actually reminding me, but yeah, like I think I've said it before as well. Like I don't know if a lot of Arsenal fans would agree with it, especially the ones that were so passionate about getting him out back in those days, like
which was a huge
2017, 2018. You think it was a huge mistake getting him out? It was actually
no. It was a huge mistake for those fans to hound him out.
Yeah, I wasn't like that, like how some fans were like,
I understand, Yeah, that's what I say. I understand you guys were asking out, but some of the fan base was hounding him, right? Which wasn't nice.
It wasn't nice considering that me growing up, watching the team he built, the players he signed, the football he implemented, that's what made me be an Arsenal fan. So I thank Le Professor for that, you know what I'm saying? Not just like Thierry Henry and Ozil and all these other players.
Yeah.
But, if you look at it, it's that I think if it was up to me, I'd put him in some kind of ambassadorial role, like how you guys have Fergie.
Director of football.
Yeah, exactly. So I think maybe get him as a director of football. Maybe
you know what I feel it will work for you guys if Arsene comes back as a director of football, right? Yeah. He's got the knowledge. He's got the player knowledge.
The tactical nous.
He can find you players.
He can scout players.
Patrick Vieira, Thierry Henry, Freddie Ljungberg, Robert Pires. They didn't come in for big fees.
Exactly, Sky does for cheap, on the cheap. So if you can come in as a director of football, you can help Arteta if he needs. You can be at all the games, and obviously he's got the legacy at the club, and he's loved by a lot of the fans. I want to say all of the fans, but a lot of them.
Yeah, I think all the fans will definitely welcome him.
Yeah, just look at Fergie. You guys, he's there if Ole needs him, and he's got that connection.
As a father.
And Arteta used to play under Wenger signed Arteta himself back in 2011. So I think if he comes in, maybe get another guy, maybe I'm not a big fan of Edu. Maybe change the head of recruitment to someone like maybe Mark Overmars. I heard he's
available. Mark Overmars and Edwin van der Sar.
Edwin van der Sar. I heard he's been linked with us. I know he's not got the link with Arsenal. He's your legend, but he's still got the football knowledge as well, so he could come in.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he was up to me, absolutely. But if he was up to me, I'd say Overmars. He's Arsenal man. Someone of that ilk, and obviously Wenger because he's been the manager before. I think if you get someone like that alongside Arteta, then Arteta can get all the help he needs and support he needs. So in terms of that side of things, I'm really glad he said that because, you
never know.
Yeah,
2021 might be a great year.
Yeah, you never know, bro. But yeah, like he's still got us in his heart. It was nice to see, It's been almost 3 years since he left already. Can you believe?
Yeah.
It's mad.
Anyway, since you're still talking and talking about Arsenal, the last bit of this section in the podcast is going to be around general transfer news around Arsenal. What's been happening at Arsenal? Tell me.
Yeah, it's obviously there's been a lot of playmakers linked. You got the continuing links around. Like I said, I think it's a couple of episodes ago about Emiliano Buendia, who's at Norwich City. I'm not a huge fan of him because obviously he plays in the Championship and then if he plays in he got relegated from the Premier League, can't be all that, you know what I'm trying to say. But in the Championship, he's been getting consistent man of the match performances. He's getting a decent goal and assist haul. So maybe, and I heard that he might be available on the cheap, 15 to 25 million. I don't know if I believe that. There's rumors going around, but obviously he could be cheap. He could be a cheaper option, but he's not my number one choice. You got Julian Brandt. He's continuing to be linked as well. I think I heard that in the recent Dortmund match, he was actually benched. He didn't come on or anything.
Oh, really?
So I heard. So maybe that could be because his mind's somewhere else. Maybe that's another thing. You got the Houssem Aouar. Maybe that could be a big money deal.
I think that would be a big signing.
Yeah, big signing. That could be like a Bruno S signing. He's not strictly number 10. He's a number 8, and he's younger. He's got place to go. He's like a teen in his age, you know. He's got space to grow. He's only 22, I believe. Yeah. But like I said, that's going to take something. If they couldn't do it in the summer, in January is a much notoriously more harder month to get those kind of deals done. So I can only pray. But he was always my number one target since last summer. But whether they pull out that kind of finances, I don't know. That's why I think maybe Buendia's got more of a chance, you know, than that. But he's not my first choice. But like I said, but a huge one. Another one is Isco. You know, you got him potentially coming on a loan deal.
Yeah, you know, I think there'll be a lot of loan deals done this.
It's going to be more about loan deals, isn't it? I'm not a huge fan of it, but if he comes in on a loan deal and then he performs, then obviously we can sign him on a permanent deal, maybe. He's 28. That's the thing with him, isn't it? Like, he's 28. Is he going to get any better? Like, you know, he's been handed out by Zidane there. I don't think he's reached the heights like he did like 3-4 years ago.
He didn't, unfortunately.
Maybe especially his Spanish is linked with like players like Ceballos and the manager Arteta. You look at it pretty well. Pablo.
So it's like a second chance for him, isn't it?
Second chance for him. Like, he's like a remontada, like what Arsenal's going through right now. You know, and it's like people are saying that Isco might not work out in the Premier League, but look at James Rodriguez. Like, he's been decent since he's come back. He's not been amazing, but he's been okay, hasn't he? Like he was handed out of Real Madrid. He came to Everton. He's not doing too badly. So maybe it could be an option. And another, he's 28, but we could go for a younger option. We've been linked with Sabitzer as well from RB Leipzig. I don't know if you know too much about him. He's a bit younger, and I think he's been linked with Spurs as well. So it'd be interesting to see who goes for him, because I think Spurs are looking for a playmaker as well, like we are, because obviously they're not playing Dele Alli too much, are they, over there?
No, he's falling off the radar, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think Mourinho really likes him. But I hope that we can get one of those in. There's a real debate. There's obviously a lot of links, spinning around about that. We've had some. I think the first priority for us is getting that Deadwood out. Like, Kolasinac gone out on loan. I hope that that make that permanent. Obviously, in terms of our loan watch, we've got Guendouzi, who's playing really, really well there. He's scoring goals for fun. I still think we should call him back, but I don't know if Arteta is going to do that. I haven't had any information about that. Torreira hasn't been getting any game time at Atletico Madrid recently, so whether we call him back, it's going to be interesting to see what the progression over this month. Obviously, we're going to have more episodes over January. Obviously, things will develop.
There'll be a lot more
development.
Four episodes on that January.
Exactly. It's only 3rd of January today as we're recording this.
We've got plenty to cover in January as well.
The window literally just opened yesterday, so even Arteta came out and said, like, just as this window started, he said the first thing I want to say, the first priority is getting the players out, whether it be on loan or the ones that are surplus, getting them out on loan or selling them permanently. Kolasinac's been the first. I heard Socrates might be on the way out, maybe to Turkey, to Fenerbahce, the Turkish team. He's obviously surplus. He's not in the squad.
Free up the fund and wages, isn't it?
Yeah, free up the funds, wage bill. There's obviously a big one, like I mentioned before. I don't want to see him go in this like a cruel way. If I was him, I'd at least bring him in, even if it's just for rotation with Smith Rowe. But my first priority I'd say go out and sign someone. But those are the main links at the moment. Sabitzer as well, like I said.
Obviously, a potentially huge one is Jack Grealish, one of the best playmakers in the league. Could play on the left wing as well. He's been linked with Arsenal and Manchester United, so it could be one for you, could be one for us, but maybe one for the summer, perhaps. I saw him exchanging some words with Ole after your match the other day. If there's any substance to that, we'll have to wait and see. But at the end of the day, he's going to be a very expensive deal, maybe looking at 80 million, 90 million maybe in it. So maybe in the summer, can you imagine that? Tierney, Saka, Grealish linking up on that left-hand side. That would be absolutely insane for us. But at the moment, it's dreams, but let's see what happens with that one.
But it's just going to be that positioning mainly for us. Sorry, before I stop, I don't know if this is true too much, but there's been links with like a new right back. Like we've had Tariq Lamptey, Brighton, who's obviously a bright young lad. He could come in, and obviously Bellerin's been below par for the majority of the season. If you can sign him, maybe he won't be that expensive. You've got Bissouma from Brighton been linked as well, who could maybe partner up with Partey. So you'd link to two players from there. So it's going to be difficult.
Awesome.
It's a difficult window, but we'll be interested to see the developments. But that's all I got for you right now.
Okay. In regards to United, we got obviously the exciting news that our £37 million signing comes in tomorrow.
Amad Diallo,
yeah. So he's got his Fabrizio Romano. I saw the tweets and everything that their club does want to keep him till the end of the season. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has outright denied it. He wants him at the club right now. He's a right winger. He is very highly sought after in Europe.
Yeah, I know
Hence why it's
very...
costed us a lot. £37 million for a 18-year-old is a lot of money.
Martial costs a similar at that age, isn't he? So
Yeah. So he's
on
one for the future. Let's see what the fuss is about him. I haven't seen him play much, but to spend that much from the club is a lot of money. And even to go as far as to say we're going to give you that much, but you can keep him for half the season because we really want him. So it just shows that the attitude we have towards that type of player. So he comes in tomorrow. He's got his passport, which has been confirmed.
He's got his work permit, I believe. I think Fabrizio's announced that.
Yeah. So that was the hold up a little bit last few days. Fabrizio Romano obviously tweeted last couple of days around Max Aarons that United are interested in Max Aarons, and anything that comes out of Fabrizio Romano, is pretty much done. It's true. Right, yeah, exactly. So he's tweeted that Max Aarons is one of the players that United are seriously interested in. However, no bid has been made. He's the right back from Norwich. He's a very attacking.
Yeah, he's another Tariq Lamptey, isn't he? Like
He's a very, very good future ahead of him. And as you said, with Norwich as well, in regards to your signing, he's going to come on cheap, potentially like 15 to 20 million.
Like Buen, he's young as well.
Plus, we need a cover on the right back. It's just Aaron Wan-Bissaka. There's nobody else.
What about Brandon Williams? Is he not a right back?
There's something happened with Brandon Williams in the background. I have no idea, but he hasn't featured in a very long time.
I've noticed that.
So something must have happened in the background where there was an attitude problem, or his performances in training are not good enough for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to say, you know what, I'm going to play Aaron Wan-Bissaka 90 minutes every game. You're not going to get a single game. So something must have happened. So I'm not sure. I think Brandon Williams, what I did hear about this week is that he might go out on loan. So maybe that would help him. I don't know. But
maybe.
Max Aarons, another one. And obviously the last one is Caicedo. Again, Fabrizio Romano tweeted that out as well. That Caicedo is in interest for Manchester United to sign him. However,
they're in interest, but nothing materialized yet.
Yeah. So he is obviously a CDM, but a new breed of CDM, like what we do with Fred, who's not exactly a CDM. As you said, sort of like a box-to-box sort of
like a partay, like.
Yeah. So Caicedo is one, and he's going to come on a very cheap as well. But the last 3 signings that United have made, 4 signings, 3 signings, potentially 1 more signing, has been all from South America. So you got Cavani, which we don't really need to scout. We know what type of player he is.
You know how good he is.
But Pellistri coming in, a right winger, won the kit for £7 million, who's from that part of Uruguay, I think. And also Diallo coming in, again, South American, and Caicedo as a South American as well. So United are kind of starting to look at that side of the world, it seems. Whereas last year it was all about the British players like Maguire, Dan James.
Sometimes it's good to get a proven players from the same league, or mixing up with someone from abroad.
So the process is there. We've signed a huge bunch of players over the last year and a half for the youth. 60, 70, including we over the summer we've taken Joe Hugo. Not many people know about him, but he's one scored 600 goals for Man City under 20s, under 18s.
What really?
Yeah, under 18. Search it up. He's got 600 goals. So he's a huge talent in a striking position, and we took him from Man City. Obviously,
he's only 17 years of age.
He's very young. He's just turned 17 recently.
October.
Yeah, so obviously Pellistri is another one young player. Diallo's coming as a young player. There's 2-3 other guys. The 2 Barcelona fullbacks we robbed over the summer. One is the left back, one is the right back. Came from Barcelona as well. Youth system, the famous Mestalla Stadium.
La Masia.
Yeah, La Masia. I'm say Mestalla, but La Masia Stadium Academy. So in terms of our transfers, especially the last couple of transfers that we've brought in, I think it was in that mold, and also building.
So what were the names of those Barcelona players? Did you say?
One of them is called Jurado.
Okay. Is it another young unknown ones at the moment, or?
Yeah, he's in the youth play. He's Jose Manuel Jurado. He's he's called Jurado. I can't remember the exact names. But
another older footballer called Jose Manuel Jurado.
That's him. He's 34. He has of age.
Yeah, you confused me with another guy.
Yeah. I have him. I can remember him. If you type in Mark Jurado.
All right, Jurado United.
Yeah. Now, if you type in Mark Jurado.
Mark Jurado. Yeah, I got him. Yeah.
He's I think he's 16 years of age. He just came from Barcelona. He's a right back, and we signed his friend who plays at the left back, same age as well.
Oh, they came together 2004. Wow, you're really scouting deep in, aren't you? 16-year-old.
Yeah. So he came in this summer. from Barca.
Okay, yeah. So he's one under the radar because he's a youngster, wasn't he?
Yeah. So there was about like him, there was another 3-4 players that United signed. But other than that,
what about one more thing? I heard the rumor. The rumors, obviously, you might need to get centre back. Is there any developments this month?
No developments. So we've had loads of news.
Upamecano or anyone like that.
Yeah, we've had news around Jadon Sancho, even Erling Haaland today, and
those are the main
Casado and all this stuff, but no mention of a centre back.
So no mention of Upamecano and like that.
No, nothing, nada. So I was covering all the transfer.
Just one big general transfer one as well. Like you've heard about Diego Costa recently terminated his contract with Atletico.
Yes.
And he's actually been linked with us, crazily enough. And
I was going to say, I think he's going to be a good player for you guys because he's a flipping fighter, isn't he?
I know, but if he comes, like, will we go through? I think there's other clubs linked to them, like Wolves or maybe somewhere else.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of clubs after.
Like Wolves obviously looking for a striker because get well soon, Raul Jimenez and everything. You know, he's had a massive head injury in our game, so obviously he's recovering. They need a recognised centre forward. They've only got an 18-year-old Fabio Silva at the moment, so they need a replacement. And we also need another centre forward because we've only got Nketiah in backup, like I said before. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. But like he's still got the mentality. He's old.
I think he's going to be a good
he could be another
agent,
Cavani.
just like a Cavani.
Yeah, exactly. He could be a Cavani if he signed him. But
exactly. Like, experienced fighter.
Yeah, and he's good at Chelsea. He's a free agent right now, so that's going to be those rumors going to be flying around. But that's it. Yeah, that's it for transfer at the moment.
And that's it. I believe that becomes the first transfer of the year, 2021. Danny,
first transfer-related transfer window episode, I could say.
And podcast, yes. How do you feel? It's been a good show.
Yeah, good shout. Is it the longest episode so far? He's actually turned out to be quite long, isn't it?
No, I think it's going to reach just above an hour because the first 10 minutes we talked about the plan, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, but at the moment it says my recording is 1 hour 90.
22.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's good. As I said, obviously currently we're going to aim for about an hour, but as the year goes past,
plus with the transfer window and obviously
it's
packed game week because of the Christmas and New Year's, and
there's a lot of games to cover, a lot of transfers to cover, so it can go above a little bit, which I'm absolutely fine with. I'm
totally. We're free, aren't we? So we're good.
Sunday's a good day as well, I think. But
bigger episode today, but we're happy with it.
Hope everybody has a fantastic and healthy 2021. And thanks for tuning in, guys. Any last words from you, Danny, before we switch off?
Best wishes to both of our teams as well. And let's
best wishes to United and Arsenal.
Yeah, and personally as well, on a personal level, I hope we both have good years, and everyone who's listening as well. Not just our clubs, but best wishes to everyone.
Best wishes, guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Take care.